Hey guys, what's up? It's Carson. In all honesty, I went back and forth trying to decide whether or not now was the appropriate time to make this video. Originally, I thought it might be better to wait until the actual court cases being processed through the legal system in the United States were concluded before making any video talking about the situation. However, in the initial hearings in federal court, the judge decided that a bench trial would most likely not be held until May of 2021. And honestly, I don't have the patience for a 10 to 11 month wait for a YouTube video, so I'm just gonna talk about what has happened so far. Then, in a separate video that will be up 24 hours from now, I'll actually take a deeper dive into the arguments that Epic Games and Apple present. Because honestly, this debate has implications that stretch way past just Apple. They affect every developer and every consumer of technology on this planet. So let's start by explaining exactly who Epic Games is, where they came from, and what they do, before finally talking about the specifics of the court case. Epic Games is a company originally founded by Tim Sweeney and Mark Rain in 1992 as Epic Mega Games. Tim Sweeney had previously had success with another title that he released independently and decided that Epic Mega Games would be his real attempt to tackle the titans of the gaming industry at the time. When he started Epic Mega Games, it was just him and Mark Rain, but by 1998, the Epic team had grown to well over 30 members, and they released their first official game called Unreal. This was a first-person shooter that was fairly popular at the time, but the underlying core game technology proved to be many times more valuable than the actual game itself. You see, game engines allow developers to build their apps without having to create all of the highly technical video, audio, and physics mechanics from scratch every time. They really allow the developers to focus more on their specific game content, and thus game engines are widely used. The Unreal Engine in particular has undergone 4 major versions and has a 5th major version in store for release at the end of 2021, and it has been used in a truly jaw-dropping number of AAA titles, not just from Epic itself, but from all kinds of developers. Of course, Epic used the platform to create the widely popular Gears of War series that has undergone 5 major recreations and has sold millions of copies across the planet. But also, Epic's release of this technology has allowed some of the most popular game series on the planet to be written using it. Tom Clancy's series, Tropico, Valhalla, NBA 2K, the Star Wars games, the Batman games, Five Nights at Freddy's, Final Fantasy, and hundreds of other AAA titles all rely on this game engine to function. But it doesn't stop there. The Unreal Engine has also been used in movies and TV shows as an aid for CGI. Westworld, The Mandalorian, and The Lion King all rely on Unreal Engine for some part of their CGI creation. So by the beginning of 2017, Epic was already riding high. But Epic wasn't done yet. In July of 2017, they released the first public beta of Fortnite. As a combination of a Minecraft or Terraria style building game with the first-person shooter aspects of a game like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, Fortnite was already poised for success based on its content. The official game released in September of 2017, and by May of 2018, it already had 125 million players, and this mass of players had already netted Epic Games over $1 billion in revenue by way of microtransactions. You see, Fortnite is entirely free to play. However, Epic makes money off of the game by allowing microtransactions, where you can buy certain numbers of in-game currency that you can then use for items and accessories within the game. This model of free-to-play with microtransactions has become insanely popular among game developers because it is overall a model that works extremely well. Fortnite really took it to a whole nother level. In July of 2017, prior to the release of Fortnite, Epic Games was worth around $825 million. After the release of Fortnite, however, by July of 2018, the company was worth $4.4 billion within the span of just 12 months. But player count continued to skyrocket. By the end of 2018, Epic Games was worth $11 billion. Then, in March of 2019, Fortnite surpassed 250 million players, which made it the single most played game on the planet. At the turn of 2020, Epic Games reached a staggering $17 billion valuation. And Tim Sweeney still controls a majority interest in Epic Games. This alone makes him worth over $9 billion personally. It is also worth noting in 2019 that Epic launched the Epic Games Store to compete with the App Store and Steam. And honestly, that is a whole situation to talk about in another video. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that aside. So all of this brings us to August of 2020, where our saga begins. Prior to the beginning of this specific legal altercation, in fact as far back as the beginning of 2017, Sweeney has been on record complaining about the need for digital marketplaces like Steam and Apple's App Store to take a 30% commission on all revenue from apps and games on their marketplaces. But after the antitrust hearings began in the United States in the summer of 2020 against the likes of Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Apple, Sweeney was at the ready for an interview.
Apple has locked down and crippled the ecosystem by imposing, an absolute monopoly on this distribution of software, on monetization of software, and they're preventing entire categories of businesses and applications from being developed. Now, the remaining barriers to fair competition and really robust evolution of the entire tech industry ecosystem are the store monopolies, where Apple doesn't allow competitors, competing stores, to exist on their platform at all, and Google intentionally stifles competing stores by having, user interface barriers and obstructions to installation.
But unfortunately, it didn't just stop with an interview. On August 13th of 2020, Epic Games updated the Fortnite game. In this update, the price for the microtransactions within the game were dropped by 20% if the players would go and purchase them directly through Epic Games' own website, thereby bypassing the Apple and Google commission rate. This was in blatant violation of the terms of service, and within 24 hours of this update, both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store had removed Fortnite. Within hours of being removed, Epic had filed lawsuits against both Google and Apple. Now, it's worth noting that the haste that Epic could come up with these 100+ page initial filing documents for lawsuits made it abundantly clear that they knew that they were breaking the rules. Sweeney also tried to use this lawsuit as a way to declare some form of moral high ground, acting as if he is working for the interests of the developers and the consumers. And while I understand that me sitting in front of a wall of Apple boxes makes it seem like I'm a little bit biased, this particular part of this situation definitely rubbed me the wrong way for two reasons. First, Epic Games is already a multi-billion-dollar company, and the cut from 30% to 12%, which is the advocated cut that Sweeney wants, would stand to make his company worth more than twice as much as it already is. Second, because Sweeney has a company that has succeeded using the 30% commission rate that has been in place the entire lifespan of the App Store, it is very clear that companies can succeed with a 30% commission rate model. He is living proof that it can happen. So his continued advocacy for helping the small developers and the consumers just really is an afterthought, when really this is all about money. Apple retaliated with a countersuit, claiming that Epic owed them 30% commission of the microtransaction revenue that they made during the hours that the game was online with this update that violated the terms of service. Apple took things one step further by removing Epic Games' developer account entirely. When removing Epic Games' developer account entirely, not only did it prevent Epic any way to access or update their own games, but it also prevented them from accessing or updating the Unreal Engine, which, as we've already explained, powers a vast swath of the games available on the Mac and iOS app stores. Apple's decision to remove Epic Games' developer account really put all of these other apps and games that rely on the Unreal Engine at risk of not being able to update. And bear in mind, this is all taking place in August, when the next versions of iOS and macOS were expected in the coming weeks. So immediately after this, on August 24th, there was a hearing regarding 2 preliminary injunctions filed by Epic. The first of these injunctions was to reinstate Epic Games' developer account immediately so that they could continue working on the Unreal Engine update. The judge agreed with this and allowed this injunction, citing the importance of the Unreal Engine to other game developers that were not involved in this suit. However, Epic's second injunction, calling for the reinstation of Fortnite to the App Store, was denied, and the judge explained that this was a situation that it was clear that Epic Games had brought on themselves. Thus, Apple would not be forced to reinstate Fortnite unless the trial finds in favor of Epic Games. After these initial injunction hearings, the first real hearing got underway. I'm not gonna go too into detail with regards to the arguments on both sides because I do want to save that for the video coming out tomorrow. But just in summary, Epic argued that Apple's monopolistic and anti-competitive behavior by way of a commission rate really makes it impossible to compete on the platform. And they believe that this lawsuit does not need to be settled with any form of monetary compensation, but rather they want it settled with a forced adjustment of Apple's commission rate. Apple proceeded to respond with a complete and total expose moment on Epic Games. They claimed that Epic had approached them in July about allowing the introduction of the cheaper cost microtransactions if they were happening on the Epic Games website, which of course they denied. Epic then proceeded 2 weeks after the original rejection from Apple to update the game anyway, thus they were forced to act by Epic blatantly disregarding their no answer originally. After finishing hearing these initial arguments, the judge originally wanted to send it to a jury trial because she believed that the best way to settle this would be to get the actual opinions of real consumers. However, both Apple and Epic Games immediately appealed this decision, and honestly, it would not be a benefit to either one of these companies to leave a decision worth billions of dollars of revenue in the hands of a randomly selected jury. Thus, a bench trial with a corporate law judge has been set for May of 2021. So we will actually have to wait until then to really get into the actual decision making regarding what needs to happen here. So that's where we are in terms of the timeline, but there is so much more to unpack with regards to the arguments presented by both of these companies outside the courtroom, and that will be for tomorrow's video. So be sure to come back so that you can learn a little bit more about the actual arguments regarding the situation. Until then, I guess that's it for this episode of What's Up With. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I will see you all. Bye!